Laser sights increase confidence regardless of experience level, whether you're learning the fundamentals or overcoming aging eyes. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
The #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free GunDealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
All righty, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN is the number here. I'm Tom Gresham. Glad you could join us. The show is called Gun Talk because we talk about guns. Oh, my goodness, guns. I mentioned earlier, I hear parents say, in a lot of different forms, well, I would do anything to protect my child. Interesting comment. Of course, I would do anything to protect my child. Okay. You mean anything that's convenient? Well, no, I mean anything. Or anything that doesn't cost you money, right? Well, no, I'd do anything that didn't require an investment in time. Well, what do you mean? Well, you say you'd do anything to protect your child. Do you own a gun? But, yeah, I know. If you own a gun, do you take training classes regularly? As in, at least once a year, you go to a school or a class. A class being minimum of 1 day, okay? Minimum of 1 day to learn gunfighting. Oh. Time and money. You will know in all things, what's important to a person by what he or she spends time and money on. Everything else is just lip service. Of course I protect my children, really. And if someone in the park walks up and picks up your 2-year-old and starts running away with her, how are you prepared to take care of her? How will you protect that little girl? I have a cell phone. Come over here so I can slap you. Time and money. What are you prepared to do? Prepared. Thought about. Think about a lot. 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, you've run the scenarios in your head. If this happens, I will do that. If that happens, I will do this. I will move that direction. I will move that direction. I have had the conversation with my children. If I say this one word, they immediately do exactly what I tell them to do, and they don't ask why or what or what's going on, Mama. What are you prepared to do, really? Not a damn thing in many cases. Of course, I would do anything to protect my children. I would even issue meaningless statements like this one. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. I've been around guns all my life. I don't care. I mean, I look, sometimes you really do have to be a little bit rude to make a point to get somebody's attention. For those of you who say, I have been around guns all my life, I have been hunting all my life, and you have not taken a real gunfighting class, you are incompetent. Well, I was in the military. Same answer. Different skill set. Unless you were a Special Forces ninja, if you were a SEAL, if you were a Ranger in SEAL Team Delta, you might have the skills. Otherwise, you got to go take a class. And then they got to take a refresher class. And then they got to go out and shoot once a month. Be a good number. And you got to carry a gun all the time. Well, I can't carry all the time. Okay, well, then carry when you can. Just saying. That whole, I would do anything for my child, really? Really? And, of course, what you get, the pushback on that is, well. They're trying to now say that, well, having a gun isn't necessary, or it's even worse, it's counterproductive, would actually put my child in danger. Only if you're incompetent. What are you prepared to do? I mean, it really is as simple as that. You're in the park and somebody walks up and simply picks up your child, punches you in the face, and walks off. I mean, it's simple. It's as easy as it can be. I don't know. I just marvel at people who don't seem to have thought through these situations. They haven't, the whole, I never thought of that. Then you need to think more. It's your job to think about those things. It's your job as a parent to think about unpleasant things. You think about keeping your child from walking into traffic. That's unpleasant. That whole thought of what could happen. You think about poisons, protecting your child from poisons. That's unpleasant. Why would you not go there and think about the unpleasant thought of having to defend your life and your child's life with a firearm? Well, in some cases, it's protecting yourself against, well, that's unpleasant, I don't want to think about it. I get that. Some people just won't think about it because it makes them uncomfortable to think about their vulnerability. And that's the whole thing. Oh, well, that would require me to admit that we're actually vulnerable and not always safe. So I would have to come out of my little bubble. Yeah, I get that. But the other part of that is it would require them to get off their butts and do something and spend money and spend time. And maybe not go to a Pilates class. So I'm sorry, but there it is. You want some good exercise? Go to Gunsight or Thunder Ranch or Tiger McKee or Sig Academy, one of these good places to go spend some time there. You'll get some exercise. You'll get in some steps. You'll get in some core exercise. I'm just offering it food for thought. All right, so we're back to 4 guns. My number here is 866-TALK-GUN. If you could pick only 4 guns, what would they be? They could be any caliber, any type. Rifle, pistol, shotgun, semi-auto, single shot, I don't care. Spear, what's your choice? 4 guns. Tell you what, give me a holler. We'll be right back. 866-TALK-GUN.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime, setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TimneyTriggers.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org. If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created GunDealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With GunDealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? GunDealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
It's really pretty simple. Your carry gun is a life-saving device. It must be with you. That's what the Springfield Armory XDS is all about. Small enough to carry, big enough to shoot comfortably, shockingly slim, single stack, with a 3.3-inch or 4-inch barrel, available in 9, 40, or 45. Highly accurate, great trigger, fiber optic front sight for fast aim fire. The XDS at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
The question on the floor is, if you were forced, and that'd be the only way that we would do it, right? If you were forced to reduce everything down to 4 guns to last forever and do everything you wanted to do, what would they be? Heiko is on line 4 out of Carson City, Nevada. Heiko, 4 guns. What are your choices?
Okay, Tom. I'm going to have to go with my standby. Got 32 Winchester Special, 1894. Got plenty of stuff for it. The second one is the Remington 870 shotgun and 12 gauge. And then I have a goofy little thing. Somebody called in on the SIG P250. I have one of those that's, actually a couple of them. That's in 9, 40, and 357 SIG. And then my standby Smith & Wesson in 357 Magnum. And I will not mention my GT10 or GT20.
That's okay. That's all right. Off the books. We're not going to talk about those. They're 10 millimeters. Okay, Heiko, thank you. Interesting choices there. 32, I wouldn't have figured, but interesting. Okay. Russell's on line 1, also in Nevada. Hey, Russell, 4 guns. What are you thinking?
So my 4 guns would be an M57 in 7.62 by 2.5 Tokarev, a Wasser 10, and SLR 104 31, an 870, and a FN FAL.
That's kind of some esoteric stuff. Why?
Well, Tokarev, because body armor's real, and it's magazine fed, unlike a 357, but it'll still chew through it. Wasser 10s never break. Arsenal makes a really good 5.45 AKs. And once you put on like an Obzor or any other Russian optic on them, they just run real clean. 870, I mean, it's a 12 gauge. Can never go wrong with the 12 gauge, and 308's awesome.
308's awesome. There you go. Simple as that. All right. Good choices. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. The idea being, okay, self-defense, sure. Hunting, yes. Of course, I think in terms of just going out and fun shooting, which is why I probably gravitate to a 22 rimfire to have that and, like lots of ammo to go out and just shoot. I got to get my limit of 10 cans, that kind of a thing, and take the kids, the grandkids out and all of that. So I think I would have to have a 22 in there. But there are choices being named here that are things I would not have thought of. And that's probably a lot of the value, assuming there is a value. There's some of the value in having the discussion, the exercise of the 4 guns, is when somebody else names something you've never thought of, you go, that's interesting. You might even say, well, what is that? Certainly. But also, I never thought of that. I wonder, as I start to look at it, what would it be? Should I change my choices? And it makes you look at them. And like I say, it's kind of interesting exercise because you start thinking about what could I do? How can I stretch? Maybe that's the thing. How can I stretch the use of each gun to do more with it? Interesting idea. Daryl's on 2 out of Anchorage, Alaska. Hey, Daryl, you're choosing 4 guns. Does it change up in Alaska?
Mine are a little odd for you. I got a bad shoulder, so I put down the rifles and shotguns. So I would go with Smith & Wesson 500 long barrel, Smith & Wesson 9-inch, and short one, and then Glock 9mm and little Ruger 25.
Where the Ruger 25, what is that?
The 25 caliber.
Okay, I'm still pulling a blank here. I mean, there's something I'm missing. A 25 caliber Ruger?
You know what? Maybe it wasn't a Ruger. I had it. I had to get rid of it when I drove through Canada. So, it
could be a 25
short.
auto then, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little short semi-auto?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, yeah, it's probably just as well that you left that somewhere. I'm sorry.
It's fun to shoot, but it's
I
one of my
know it
wine-ups.
is. Well, two Smith & Wesson 500s, that's pretty cool. That would not have been in anybody else's list, only a guy in Alaska who doesn't want to shoot long guns. I love it. Daryl, thank you for that call. I appreciate that, sir. Let's see here. Lee, Easter Washington on 3. What are you thinking, Lee, for your choices?
Hello. I'm thinking that weapons are fine to help in self-defense, but as you yourself have noted through the years, the basics come first. Do you have a fire extinguisher in your house? Do you have a smoke alarm? Do you have some flashlights, stuff like that? And also, number one is, do you have self-awareness? Sadly, in Las Vegas last week, there was a couple. They had 6 kids. They're standing in line at something. Someone apparently came up and randomly sucker punched this guy real hard. He was dead the next day. So we have to be paying attention to something other than the cell phone or the this or the that. We have to have sort of situational awareness, as you've noted many times.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The head down in the cell phone is a self-destructive activity. You simply take yourself, and the problem is, it's not just that you're looking down, is that when your head is down and you're really concentrating, you're also not even hearing anything around you. I mean, forget the idea that you got earbuds in, which people also do that, which is nuts out in public places. But yes, and people say, well, why would you shoot him? He was just punching the guy. Well, as you say, one punch, guy's dead. Happens more frequently than you'd know. One punch and blinded, lost sight in an eye. Happens more frequently than you would be aware. Get your head up, be aware, look around. If you have to, and I'm just throwing this out here, if you have to use your phone in public places, maybe, let me just throw this out, maybe what you use, you find a place on the sidewalk where you can just lean up against a wall with your back, and you got your back to the wall, and you have the phone up in front of you, not looking down, so that you can have some peripheral vision so you can see what's going on. Because for those who like to do this sick assault, knockout game, whatever you want to call it, they look for somebody with their head down. They look for someone who is unaware. That way they can truly sucker punch them. Never see it coming, and they just go down like a bag of hammers, just gone, and in this case, dead. So, yeah, thank you, Lee. Interesting point. Jack, Medford, Oregon, line 4. Can you narrow it down to 4, Jack?
Yes, sir. I can dial it down to 4. I got my Remington Model 760 pump, 330-06. I got my Sig Sauer 232 and a 380. I got my Ruger Red Label over and under, and I got my AR.
Why a 380?
380, it's easy to conceal. I'm really comfortable with it. It shoots really good. Once I get within that 12 to 18-foot range, I'm pretty deadly with it.
Mm-hmm. And we've got good ammo for the 380s. I mean, 20 years ago, that would have been unthinkable to choose that as your self-defense gun. But with the ammo we have now, it is pretty darn close to being a 9.
Oh, absolutely, Tom. And I got a reloader here, and I reload my own shells. I carry the Black Talon in it right now. So in the holster I can carry 2 clips each with 8 rounds apiece. So I'm pretty comfortable with it. But out here in Oregon, you can. Sorry, go ahead.
You have 30-year-old ammo, Black Talon ammo?
No, I got some Hydra-Shocks too. Yeah, they still shoot really good.
Okay, just that stuff's. We've actually got ammo that's a lot better than Black Talon these days. Because that is 30-year-old bullet technology, and we passed that up probably 3 generations of ammo ago. So I'm just just saying, as cool as it was at the time, and it really was 30 years ago, Black Talon is something that, for me, I'd sell that to an ammo collector somewhere, and I'd go buy some of the really good ammo that's being made today. It is what's on the shelves today is much better than the old Winchester Black Talon ammo. So I'm just throwing that out for your consideration, okay? I appreciate the call, sir. Let's see here. I'll go to Ron on 2 out of Grants Pass, Oregon. Hey, Ron, what are you thinking here for your choices?
My 4 choices are a Beretta, 40 Smith & Wesson, and what's nice about that is the Beretta Model 92 will fit the Model 96 9mm barrel. So you got 2 guns in one.
Aha.
And the clips interchange. If it's a 15-round clip for a 9, it holds 12 for the 40. And it all interchanges, and I've tried it.
Okay.
And my second gun would be a 12-gauge 1187, shoots a 2 3/4 or 3-inch screw-in choke, shoot anything from buckshot to slugs. Mm-hmm. And an 870 hand grip will also fit on it.
Right.
If you want to do that. And then my favorite gun is a Seiko 22-250 with a 70-grain spear bullet. It's devastating on bucks. I've killed one at 500 yards with it.
Wow. Okay.
And what's that, 3? And my fourth one would be Ruger Mini 14 ranch rifle and a 223, because you can almost hand load for that, for what you can buy 22 long rifle for.
Okay, I like those choices. You've given it some thought clearly. I like the Mini 14 option. That's pretty interesting. By the way, speaking of guns, we had three guys in our office this week bought Smith & Wesson shields from Brownells using the rebate that's out there and a code they found for Brownell's discount. I mean, they were paying, I think they ended up paying like $219 for a shield. It was just crazy after the rebate. It was nuts. And then somebody said they found a DPMS AR-15 for like $390 or something. The prices are nuts on guns right now. It is absolutely a time to be buying. If you don't, you'll be sorry later.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
We're playing the four-gun challenge. It's kind of fun, and I get a note from John. It says, next week, do the 4 guns you would get rid of. Let people leave contact information so we can do some wheeling and dealing. John's wanting to add to his collection, not narrow it down to 4. When you become a hand loader, you start reading about certain things, certain people. When you become a gun geek, certain names keep popping up. One of the names that is going to pop up when you're really into rifles is P.O. Ackley. Interestingly, this is a guy that really a lot of us refer to his books when we're doing our research and reference material. And I got a brand new book, P.O. Ackley, America's Gunsmith. Fred Zeglin joins us right now. He is the author of P.O. Ackley, American Gunsmith. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Absolutely. You know, Ackley, of course, is known as like the super wildcatter gunsmith, but he was so much more than that. Why do a book on him?
Well, years ago I did a book on wildcatting in general, and of course I had to touch on Ackley to do that. And then when I started looking for my next project, long story short, I kind of whittled it down from a whole bunch of gunsmiths to just P.O. Ackley. He's an interesting guy. He was well known enough that it was a little easier to find some research material, which always helps.
Sure.
But he was into so many things. I mean, he was a barrel maker. You know, we think of him today as Ackley improved cartridges. That's what most people know him for. But in his day, he was one of the most famous barrel makers in the United States.
Okay.
He also helped get the...
I was just going to say, he had some ideas about, he was kind of our go-to guy for a generation of people about rifle accuracy as well, wasn't he?
He certainly was. He wrote for a couple of magazines. He wrote for Guns and Ammo and Shooting Times, I believe, for many, many years. And back in that day, you didn't write for two different magazines. The competition was stiff, and they didn't allow that. But in his case, they allowed it.
Yeah, because they were willing, because they said, what's it going to take? I don't care what it takes. We want P.O. Ackley to be writing for us. But the book is interesting because it is a combination. It's actually almost unique, I would offer. It is a biography, but a technical book with interesting information about reloading and everything else. It's kind of it's a hybrid book. Let's call it that. What do you think?
I think you're right. I mean, it's really hard to write about somebody like P.O. Ackley, who was an experimenter and was always looking to prove or disprove a wives' tale. If you told him that a gun would do a certain thing, he was going to set up an experiment and test that. He wasn't willing to accept somebody's assertion,
When you, and I'm sure this has happened, somebody says, well, who was P.O. Ackley? What do you tell them?
And I actually hear that a lot. The generation who knew him as a household name in the shooting industry is quickly passing away. Many of the people that I interviewed when I was, doing the research phase of the book have passed away. So, obviously that means the market for the book is slipping a little bit. But the important thing, I think, was to record the history because, we're entering this electronic age where everybody's relying on search engines and their computer. And I honestly believe that having books is a real treasure because at some point, maybe that electronic stuff will, fail us. At least if you've got a book on the shelf, you can still refer to it.
And for those who, there's I don't know if it's a renewed interest, but there's a huge interest in highly technical rifle things these days. And probably you see it mostly in the long-range shooting world where I'm sure that there have been times when you just kind of have this smile where you're thinking, wow, they're discovering things that P.O. Ackley was writing about 50 or 60 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. And I wouldn't deny that, our equipment has improved and our ability to measure things has improved, but he was certainly trying to accomplish all of those things that all shooters try to accomplish today. Every shooter wants an accurate rifle and wants to be able to shoot at longer ranges accurately. And that's certainly something he was interested in. He was a really avid chuck hunter, and there's stories about him traveling the western United States shooting rock chucks and prairie dogs and that kind of stuff.
But as you say, he was probably best known for the improved cartridges, Ackley improved, the 280 probably being the best known since Nosler took it, and it's no longer a Wildcat, it's a standardized cartridge. But the Ackley improved cartridges, he was blowing out cartridges and straightening out shoulders and having a sharper shoulder on it. And then, of course, later on we come to find out, hey, that really works. And so we end up with a whole line of Winchester short magnums and all the big fat cartridges with the sharper shoulders on them, angles, and those really are more accurate. I guess the guy really did know what he was talking about.
Well, accurate, and of course everybody wants velocity. So if you give yourself maximum capacity for the case, then that's where the velocity is going to come from, of course. But, he started doing that at the beginning of his career. He started learning barrel making in about 1936, and before he even was building stuff for the public, he had already done a couple of Wildcats privately. So, he started that process almost day one of his career.
Yeah, and of course, there are many who would say that the 280 is one of the finest hunting cartridges out there, and I would not argue against that at all. Fred, where can people get a copy of your book?
Probably the easiest thing is to go to a website called 4drentals.com. So it's number 4, letter D, and then just the word rentals with an S on the end. There's also a website. Yep, and another one that's really easy to remember, there's AckleyImproved.com is also carrying the book.
Okay, AckleyImproved.com. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and you can always rely on Gun Digest. They're the publishers for the book, and if you go to their site, it's there as well.
A Gun Digest book. Yeah, absolutely. That speaks well for it. All right, so the title of the book is P.O. Ackley, America's Gunsmith, and it is by Fred Zeglin. Fred, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and the 25th of this month is Ackley's 114th birthday, so this is a nice way to celebrate it.
That is very cool. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, we're still looking for your thoughts. If you had to pick only 4 guns, what would they be? Rifle, pistol, shotgun, what calibers? Takedown, scopes, accessories. You can only have 4 to last through the millennium. Or next week, whatever. 866-TALK-GUN.
Responsible owners control access to their firearms, even when they may need them in a hurry. Liberty Safe, the nation's leader in gun safes, offers 6 models of handgun vaults. Strong, simple to use, open with a key or fingerprint. Put your handgun in the compact vault, lock it away until you need it. Then it's in your hand almost instantly. Pick the Liberty Safe handgun vault that's right for you. LibertySafeHD.com.
Laser sights offer an immediate advantage when visibility is poor and seconds count. Laser sights can de-escalate a deadly encounter by engaging the target with a laser, enhancing your ability to protect your family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
The pistol that redefines pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP-2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP-2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP-2 at Ruger.com.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Ted has called in from Elk Point, South Dakota. Hey, Ted, 4 guns. What are your selections?
Tom, I'm going to cheat just slightly, and I'm going to pick a SIG P320, a very nice AR lower, an 870 Remington, and then some kind of bolt-action 308. Because I want to shoot...
I see where you're going with this. You're going with chassis that you can build onto, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
So
that way I can shoot anything I want to shoot.
Yep, exactly. With the 320, you can do that, and with the AR, you can shoot probably a dozen different calibers on that AR lower.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay. Good choices. I like all of them. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I mentioned earlier we had a little accident at the range, and I wanted to kind of tell you about it. There's a lesson here for all of us. It's not a huge lesson. It's one you already know. We're shooting some video for the Guns and Gear television show. We take guns out to the range and we shoot them and kind of ring them out a little bit. And we always have some cool slow motion video we shoot. And so we're doing that. And a guy's shooting a 9mm with a suppressor with a red dot sight. You got to follow me here because it's a little involved. And we're shooting a string, and I'm running a camera. We got 3 or 4 cameras running. And he goes, bang, 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 bang. He stops. I said, hey, you're bleeding. I said, what? His forehead. It's got a cut on his forehead. I'm thinking, well, we weren't. normally I'd say, well, you're shooting steel and something bounced back, and that happens. But we weren't shooting steel. I said, huh. He said, well, I think maybe a cartridge hit me in the head, a cartridge case. I'm thinking, well, that's odd, because it's a pretty good little cut. It's bleeding. We've got an alcohol swab. I mean, we took care of it. It's not a big deal. I said, well, that's weird, though, because usually the ejection of a cartridge case is not enough to come back and hit you and cut you. And then I looked at the slow motion video that we had shot. We're shooting at 240 frames a second, or 10 times regular speed. And so here's what we see. You got to kind of use your imagination, follow along with me. Guns up, got the red dot sight on his pistol, and he shoots and shoots, and probably the second round is empty. We see the empty case come up, and it's slow motion, it's floating, it's pretty, and it comes drifting back down, and it comes right down on top of the pistol, right behind the red dot sight. And it is hanging right there as though you'd placed it right behind the red dot sight. And then he presses the trigger, and the gun recoils, and the red dot sight works like the flipper on a pinball machine. Because when the muzzle comes up, this red dot sight flips backwards, and it flipped that case with a whole bunch of energy right smack dab into his forehead, right between the eyes. And we ended up playing this thing back like 3 or 4 times, going, that was bizarre. How weird was that? How unexpected was that? I mean, one of those deals of, in a lifetime of shooting, I've never seen anything like that. But then it's interesting, we all kind of at the same time got to the same place in our thinking. And thinking, wow, it's a good thing you were wearing shooting glasses. Think of what could have happened. People say, well, you always wear shooting glasses. Yeah, I know you're supposed to. But I'm always amazed at people who don't. The other part is people who are not wearing them when they're not shooting, but you're around shooters. We make it a point, because we end up with camera operators who may not be necessarily really familiar with guns. And we're always very careful. We do safety briefings. But one of the things we tell them is, especially when we're shooting steel, because steel's always fun to shoot for TV, either face away from the steel or face toward the steel, but don't face 90 degrees from the steel. The reason for that is that, particularly if you're wearing protective glasses that don't wrap around, something can come in the side, behind the lens, and still hit your eye. And if you're facing the target, it's going to hit the glasses, the protective glasses, and protect your eye. Obviously, if you're facing away from it, it's not an issue. But if you're shooting steel, anybody who shot steel, anybody, in fact, call me right now if you shot steel and been hit, okay? 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. Anybody who has shot steel for any length of time has been hit with something bouncing back. And it might just be hitting the pants leg, you go, oh, huh. Or it might come back and cut you. Or it might, as has happened, I have actually used a pair of a Leatherman tool to pull a piece of bullet jacket out of a young woman's neck. It stuck. I mean, it wasn't bad. Just take it. And once again, alcohol swabs. One of the reasons we always have a med kit at the range also. I mean, we have everything up from tourniquets and up, but basic med kit with alcohol swabs and little Band-Aids and doodads and things, because stuff happens. You get scratches, you get cuts. You're handling guns with sharp edges. Clean them up when you can. It's simple as that. But just anyway, one of those deals is a weird little episode that pointed out, once again, the need for shooting glasses and gun safety, and you just never know. 866-TALK-GUN. Interesting. Just saw another report that one of Bloomberg has, Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, has a number of gun control groups. One of them, Everytown for Gun Safety, has an arm or an area of the group that's simply designed to put anti-gun messages into the culture. Sitcoms, movies, and now books, working with authors and writers to make sure they put anti-gun messages and gun control messages from Bloomberg. And what they're doing, and it's smart, they're working to change the culture. I always have said this, and it ticks people off when I say it. They say, well, we have the Second Amendment. I said, you have the Second Amendment until you don't. Anything can be voted out, including an amendment to the Constitution. When the culture supports it and the people will vote for it, you will lose it. They're getting this. They're playing the long game. And so if you feel as though you are seeing a lot of anti-gun rights messages, a lot of themes about gun control and misuse of guns in popular culture, sitcoms and shows, nightly comic shows, late night shows, you're right, you are. Because there's somebody who has access to these people who's feeding this message into them. I think maybe it's time for somebody like a NRA to do the exact same thing. We'll see. I don't know. See how it works out. Leroy, line 2, 4 guns. Leroy, what do you think?
Yes, sir. I have my choice for the 4 would be the Judge. It fires the 410 and the
45 Colt, yeah.
45. Second would be a 12-gauge pump Defender model Mossberg.
Okay.
A 30-06 Ruger, stainless steel with synthetic stock, and a 22 mag rifle Ruger synthetic stock with stainless steel.
Interesting choice. Why 22 Magnum?
Well, I've been up into northern Alberta, way up there as far as you can drive, and to fish and camp. And I've ran into some Indians that live up in that country, and they hunt caribou and all kinds of game up there with 22 mags. Because the ammunition isn't as expensive as your bigger calibers.
Okay.
Some of them even shoot with 22 long rifle. But I do have a question, sir. If you have a firearm that's a 22 mag, can you shoot a 22 long rifle in that?
In some firearms, you could. Ruger makes a single 6 convertible. You could swap out the cylinders. You cannot shoot in the same chamber. You would have to swap the cylinder out or get a different chamber, and then it could go through the same barrel. So that would be the only way that I'm aware of that you could make that happen. But the basic answer is if you can't do that, if you can't change out the chamber, then no, you shouldn't do that. That's not to say it hadn't been done, and I'm sure it would go off and all the rest of that. There you go. Be safe about it. Use your head. Hey, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're still going to get you in here because we're going to go to the after show, which is, of course, tons of fun. If you've not experienced the after show, shame on you. You got to get your GunDealio app. Put it on your phone. It's free. You'll save tons of money with it. We have all kind of super deals available, and you can listen to Gun Talk in the after show. So go grab GunDealio. In the meantime, be safe out there. Increase your situational awareness and tell people about Gun Talk.